Ty Gibbs may have just sent a warning to the entire Cup Series. What happened during the brutal battle at Phoenix showed a level of confidence we have never seen from him before. Now, experts believe his first NASCAR Cup victory could happen very soon. A young driver who has spent the last few seasons learning, adjusting, and sometimes frustrating fans with his aggressive style is suddenly looking like a completely different competitor. That driver is Ty Gibbs. And after what happened at Phoenix Raceway, the entire NASCAR world is beginning to ask the same question. Is Ty Gibbs finally about to win his first Cup Series race? For a long time, Gibbs has carried the label of a rising talent who simply needed more time. The speed was there. The equipment from Joe Gibbs Racing was strong. The expectations were enormous. But Cup Series racing is a different level compared with anything a young driver experiences before arriving there. Every week in the Cup Garage, drivers line up against some of the most experienced racers in the world. Champions, veterans who have spent decades learning how to manage races, conserve tires, control restarts, and survive chaotic moments that can instantly destroy a race weekend. That learning curve can be brutal. Ty Gibbs experienced that reality during his first full seasons in the Cup Series. There were flashes of speed and moments where he looked capable of challenging the best drivers in the sport. But there were also mistakes, overly aggressive moves, frustrations on the radio, and races that slipped away because the final pieces of the puzzle were not quite there yet. However, something feels different in 2026. Over the last few weeks, Gibbs has begun putting together performances that show real growth, not just raw speed, but maturity behind the wheel. The kind of racecraft that turns a fast driver into a winning driver. That shift became especially clear during the recent race at Phoenix Raceway. Phoenix is one of the most difficult tracks on the NASCAR calendar. The 1-mile oval demands precision from drivers in every phase of the race. The braking zones are tricky, the corners tighten in ways that punish mistakes, and restarts can become chaotic as drivers fight for track position on a narrow racing surface. Many races at Phoenix turn into survival battles rather than simple speed contests. For Ty Gibbs, the race became exactly that kind of battle. From the early stages of the event, Gibbs showed that his car had serious pace. The number 54 Toyota consistently ran near the front of the field, challenging some of the biggest names in the sport. As the race unfolded, Gibbs continued putting himself in position to fight for a top finish, but it was the closing stages of the race that truly captured attention. Late in the event, the battle near the front became intense. Drivers pushed their cars harder as the laps counted down, knowing that track position at Phoenix is incredibly valuable. Small openings between cars became opportunities. Aggressive moves became necessary if someone wanted to challenge for the lead. Ty Gibbs did not hesitate. He drove aggressively but with control, fighting wheel to wheel with experienced veterans who have spent years mastering the art of Cup racing. At times, the action became physical as cars leaned against each other while fighting for position. The atmosphere in the grandstands and across television broadcasts reflected the tension of the moment. Fans could see that Gibbs was not simply holding position. He was attacking. He was pushing forward. And at several points during the final runs of the race, it looked like he might actually steal the victory. Although the win ultimately slipped away, the performance itself sent a strong message across the NASCAR garage. Ty Gibbs was not just competing, he was becoming a legitimate threat. That realization was reflected almost immediately in the sports power rankings released after the race weekend. Both analysts and insiders who track the weekly performance of drivers began moving Gibbs upward in their rankings. His consistent speed and aggressive but controlled driving style over the past few races forced observers to reconsider where he stands among the Cup Series field. One ranking placed him inside the top 10 drivers in the sport at the moment. For a driver still searching for his first Cup Series victory, that kind of recognition speaks volumes about his recent form. Part of the reason for the rising confidence surrounding Gibbs comes from the momentum he has built over multiple races. The Phoenix performance was not an isolated moment. It was another chapter in a stretch of strong runs that began earlier in the season. At Circuit of the Americas, Gibbs delivered a performance that caught attention throughout the garage. He showed impressive pace during the event, even capturing a stage victory before ultimately finishing near the front of the field. That race proved something important. Gibbs could manage a long event, handle strategy changes, and remain competitive deep into the race when pressure was highest. Then came Phoenix, another fourth-place finish, another race where Gibbs spent the majority of the afternoon battling near the front, another event where he collected a strong points total and continued climbing toward the playoff picture. Consistency is one of the hardest things for young drivers to achieve in the Cup Series. Winning races requires speed, but building a championship-caliber season requires steady results week after week. Right now, Ty Gibbs is showing exactly that. The results have also moved him above the playoff cut line early in the season, placing him in a much stronger position than many expected just weeks ago. That development is significant for several reasons. When a young driver starts running consistently inside the top 5 and top 10, it changes how competitors approach racing against them. Drivers begin to treat them less like a prospect and more like a legitimate contender. That shift in respect can alter the entire dynamic on the track. Veterans who might have once expected Gibbs to make mistakes now see a driver who is executing races with growing precision. Crew chiefs studying lap times see a car that maintains strong pace over long runs. And fans watching the races see someone who is starting to look comfortable fighting at the front. Confidence grows quickly when those pieces come together. For Gibbs, that confidence is becoming visible in the way he drives. The aggressive style that once created controversy now looks more calculated. Instead of forcing moves at the wrong moment, he appears to be choosing his battles carefully and waiting for the right opportunity to attack. That patience is a critical step in the development of any driver. Many Cup Series veterans have said over the years that learning when not to make a move is just as important as learning how to make one. Ty Gibbs seems to be absorbing those lessons. And now the NASCAR schedule is sending the series to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, a track that could provide the perfect stage for his breakthrough moment. Las Vegas is a high-speed, intermediate oval that places enormous emphasis on aerodynamics, tire management, and long-run pace. Unlike the tight corners of Phoenix, Las Vegas rewards drivers who can maintain consistent speed over extended runs, while managing tire wear across multiple lanes of racing surface. It is a track where momentum can carry a driver forward. If a team unloads with a fast car and maintains track position, the race can quickly turn into an opportunity for victory. For Ty Gibbs and the Joe Gibbs Racing team, that possibility is very real. Joe Gibbs Racing has historically been strong at intermediate tracks. The organization invests heavily in engineering, simulation, and data analysis that helps drivers find speed in the aerodynamic era of NASCAR racing. That technical strength gives Gibbs a competitive platform heading into Las Vegas weekend. More importantly, the driver himself is entering the race with growing belief that he can win. Confidence plays a powerful role in motorsports. When a driver believes they belong at the front of the field, they approach races differently. They attack corners with more conviction. They defend positions with greater authority, and they remain calm when late race pressure builds around them. Right now, Ty Gibbs is beginning to show that kind of mindset. Inside the garage, competitors are paying attention. Every season, there are moments when a young driver suddenly crosses the invisible line between potential and reality. One strong performance turns into two becomes three, and before long, the rest of the field realizes that a new contender has arrived. Many people believe Ty Gibbs is approaching that moment. The statistics support that idea. Back-to-back top finishes, strong stage performances, climbing power rankings, rising playoff position. Each of those indicators suggests a driver who is building towards something bigger. The only missing piece is the victory itself. In NASCAR, the first win often changes everything for a driver. It removes pressure. It proves that the driver can close a race under the most intense conditions, and it often unlocks a level of confidence that leads to even more success. Many fans believe that when Ty Gibbs finally breaks through, it could open the door to multiple victories in a short period of time. That is why the Las Vegas race weekend is drawing so much attention. If Gibbs arrives with the same speed he showed at Phoenix and COTA, the number 54 Toyota could easily find itself battling at the front once again. And if the race comes down to a late restart or a final run where drivers must push their cars to the limit, Gibbs has already shown that he is willing to fight aggressively for position. The difference now is that his aggression is starting to look refined rather than reckless. That evolution is what turns talented young drivers into winners. As the engines fire at Las Vegas and the green flag waves, many eyes will be watching the bright yellow Toyota carrying the number 54. Because right now, Ty Gibbs is no longer just a promising young driver learning the Cup Series. He is becoming one of the most dangerous competitors in the field, and if his current momentum continues, the moment that NASCAR fans have been waiting for may arrive sooner than anyone expected. The first Cup Series victory for Ty Gibbs might not be a distant possibility anymore. It might be right around the corner.